If you think about hosting a dinner party and the amount of warmth that you would like your guests to feel, we need to do that every day, every moment. That to me is hospitality.
Food is such a strong language of love, and we are trying to create experiences and we're trying to create memories.
If you try too hard, you fall flat on your face. I think you always have to do what's truthful and do it nicely, and I think then it has longevity.
Firstly, I want to extend a hugely warm welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for making your way over this evening. So, Jade Elise-Taylor, Head of Marketing for Genesis in the UK. We arrived here a few short years ago, and we have quickly become known for the exceptional cars that we provide, two of which are outside for you to explore after the talks. And we'd really encourage you. We've got 3 of our Genesis personal assistants here today, and they'll be able to help answer any of your questions. What really sets us apart from the competition is our kind of fanatical obsession with customer service. We've got, there's so many brands out there that can do design, can do technology, but what really sets us apart is our kind of Korean philosophy of Sonnim. Sonnim translates into cherished guest, and that's why you're all here today as our cherished guests, and it's how we treat every single interaction that we have with our customers. And it extends as far as the staff that operate in our head office, in our studios. And so it's really that Korean philosophy that we feel is a differentiator for us. So we'd want to welcome you as our cherished guests here tonight. Please be as interactive as possible. Our fantastic panelists have all got their own take on hospitality in their own individual industries, but what really kind of sets us apart is how there's kind of common threads and how it all interlinks to really make sure that the customer experience that we're all delivering in our own individual way is exceptional. So thank you very much, and please enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much, Jade Elise.
Right, let's introduce these people who've been sitting very patiently. Sitting here, ladies and gentlemen, is Jaco Strauss, the architect, creative director and founder of Law Group, based in London. That's a small chain of 6 hotels, 2 in London, 2 in Amsterdam, 2 in New York City.
Washington.
Sorry. Okay.
New York soon, hopefully.
There we go. Jaco, you studied here in London as an architect and suddenly found yourself doing hospitality, a small project, Sea Containers with Tom Dixon, was your first hospitality project. And since then, your motto is, always find something new. What's the next thing? Always something new around the corner.
Always look for the next thing. You always have to keep going. But, there are beautiful things all over the place in the world, and you just have to find the right thing. When it comes to buildings, for example, for our hotels, I always feel that they find us sometimes. And we always fall in love with them first, and that's what we go for.
Thank you, Jaco. Judy Ju, Korean, US, now based in London, started off doing an engineering degree in Columbia, is that right? Then went into investment banking and somehow found your heart in the professional kitchen. Now thought to be the leading proponent of Korean food in the West, ladies and gentlemen. The lovely smells coming from the back are courtesy of Judy and her team. So I'll be asking you to tell us what's in the menu. But you're here to talk about Korean hospitality and the fact that Koreans, you wear your hearts on your sleeve. So the temper and the passion is as fiery as the delicious food. So we'll be looking forward to hear from you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. And finally, Gaia Vesha, CEO of Maslow's, which, if you don't know what Maslow's is or who they are, they operate One Warwick and Mortimer House. Strenuously, not really a members club, but we'll come to that in a minute. But you get a direct debit from me every month. Close to design, you say, close to service, but also I think you told me a little bit earlier on is good hospitality is essentially how you make somebody feel. So let's start off. How do you make somebody feel wonderful with hospitality, Guy?
Well, I think service is something that a lot of companies and people provide. How you make somebody feel is hospitality. If you think about hosting a dinner party and the amount of effort and setting up and warmth that you would like your guests to feel, we need to do that every day, every moment. And that to me is hospitality, hosting people and seeing the joy in them.
Now you're organization, Maslow's, has a guiding principle to it. And I think it'd be interesting to find out what is your guiding principle when it comes to what gets you up in the morning. So Guy, what is it that Maslow's does?
So Maslow's was the name of a pioneering psychologist called Abraham Maslow's, and I've named our group after his philosophies. He had this idea of human motivation and happiness, created this hierarchy of needs that meant you need to satisfy some basic needs before you advance to other needs and ultimately self-actualization. So I love that whole concept, and I thought I would create a place that allows people to satisfy both their professional and personal needs. And that manifested itself in the form of Mortimer House being our first project. It is a members house. I choose not to say club because that's associated mainly with a social proposition, and we do more than that. So as our member, you might come in and use our beautiful gym and then go have a very healthy breakfast, then do some emails, and then meet some people for coffee in the lounge, do some more work because you still have to work, most people do, and then go up for drinks on the rooftop. And then there's a whole rich program of events for you to enjoy as well. And you can achieve all these things under one roof, essentially everything you need, and that was the main objective of Maslow's.
Guy, Yaku, when you found yourself doing sea containers and you had not done hospitality before, what guiding principles did you follow? And actually, what did you suddenly realize that you had to learn pretty quickly?
Well, at the time I was working with Tom Dixon, and he taught me the importance of storytelling. That's where we started. It wasn't sort of jumping into the problems and the details. It's like, what do we want to achieve here? Why are we doing this? And that kind of created this almost a charter right at the beginning, and that's what we used to make every single decision right up to the end. And I think that was the key to the success of that project. Even without us not having had done in a hotel before, that was the key thing that got us through it all. And also with the spirit of kind of adventure and experimenting. So we experimented with loads of things. So some things didn't work out, some things did, but we had fun doing it, and I think that was key as well.
And you can see that in the hotel as well. Judy, one of the key crucial things to what you do is the fact that there is a strong Korean identity in what you do. And actually, we're talking a little bit about the cherished guest here that Genesis prides itself upon. How much is that rooted in what you do in the kitchen and what Koreans do in terms of their fundamental hospitality principles?
Yeah, so I would say that in Korea also, food is such a strong language of love, and we're doing quick serves now with Soulbird, but at the same time, there's still a lot of love going in the food. And this is what we wanted to do in our quick serve, is bring Korean food to the masses. And everything is homemade, everything is fresh, we make all of our sauces in-house. So it is still a very, very high quality product. Our names are behind it, our faces are behind it, we stand behind our product with our heart and soul, but it is accessible. We have a 13, 14 pound price point per head. And so this is the way that we felt that we could, spread the love of Korean flavors around the globe. And we're slowly doing this through a franchise model. And, we're all about our customers, and getting customers to come in again and again and again. And I think I can speak for all three of us when I say that we are trying to create experiences, and we're trying to create memories. And even if that experience is just, lunch for half an hour with your colleague, or if you're staying overnight somewhere, or if you're sharing a coffee with somebody at a private members club, you're creating a memory. You're trying to create an impression on that customer. And if you're buying a car, or if you're buying something, all of these create an overall experience that you really want to kind of leave a strong kind of like imprint on somebody. And you do that through other people, through your 5-second engagement with somebody at the cashier, or that one bite. And in the Korean culture, there's, I always say that service in the East is insane compared to service in the West. Like the spas that you can go to in Japan or Thailand or Korea, stuff, like the level of service just is incredible versus the best hotels and spas in the West. They just take it to this another level. I mean, I can't even explain it, They almost anticipate what you want before you even know that you needed it, and you didn't even know it existed, that you wanted it. You're like, oh, this is cool. And I remember being in a bathroom. I'll just give you a cute little story. And there was a stream of air blowing up onto the roll of toilet paper, so it waved at you. You know what I mean? I was like, I need that in my life. I didn't know I did, but now I think I do, you know? So it's like those little things, and you're constantly being surprised in Asia by technology, you know, by AI, machine learning now, and everything, and the people as well, you know? And then Songnam is like an honorific term, right? And Asia is grounded in respect. It is everything, and we have whole holidays around, you know, respecting and worshiping and you know, paying homage to your ancestors, and we should extend that to the people that put the bread on our tables, basically.
There is something about being uniquely Korean. I don't know how many are you going to be going home tonight and looking up the possibility of purchasing a small hot air blower for the bathroom. I know that's going.
Put it in your hotels now.
Yaku, take note, Guy. We'll know, everybody, when we meet again, we'll say, did you buy the loo blower?
I'm a fan of the Japanese toilet, yes.
Yes, the Toto.
The fact is that the Koreans wear their hearts on their sleeves, don't they? You're the Italians of Asia. So
Yes.
what you see is very much what you get.
Definitely. We're the drama queens of Asia. We always say that we are the Italians of Asia. And this is why Korean dramas, I feel, have taken the world by storm. You know, Korean dramas are officially translated into over 90 different languages around the world. So it is a real thing. If you haven't been privy to a Korean drama yet, you might want to check it out, but you will be consumed, I'm telling you. And there's this whole subculture of people who translate these dramas in their own time, voluntarily, into hundreds more different languages. So it really is an addictive, it is an addictive thing, but it's because the storylines are so incredibly dramatic, they're so rare, they're not afraid to kill off a fan favorite, like you don't know what's gonna happen. And I think that that's quite indicative of the people too, like we're quite fiery, dramatic people, and you see that in the food as well. You know, what you see is what you get, you know, it's this bubbling, you know, kind of crazy looking soup that you have no idea what's in it, you know, but that's what it is. Whereas, you know, Japanese culture is kind of the opposite. Everything's beautiful, and, you know, even the most humblest of purchases is wrapped in the most amazing way. And there's this kind of veneer. You don't really know what's on the inside. Korea is like, we'll show you what's on the inside. And I think that that's kind of a good thing in some ways, you know. And so you always know, like, there are no hidden fees, no hidden costs, etc. Yeah.
Well, we need to start taking questions in a minute, so get your hands ready. Just one question for you, Yaku, that we're talking about design here. You're designing numerous hotels in different venues, in different parts of cities. I went out to see your operation in Shoreditch this morning, and you've evolved that. It was an Ace Hotel. You've taken it on. What was the evolution that was needed there to make it correct for now? How did you use design there?
Well, first of all, hotels are about people, and I say design's about people as well. It's not about things. And the neighborhood had evolved over the last decade or so, and it was time for it to grow up a little bit with its neighbors. And that's what we had to do. It was a very sensitive thing. I think people were very nervous that we were going to refurbish the hotel and rebrand it. But we went in there appreciating its legacy and wanting to build on that. And we knew we had to add a few new things to make it feel new and different. So it was really about picking our battles, but we did it very sensitively, bearing in mind that it had its own legacy in the neighborhood. It meant a lot to the neighbors, and we wanted to maintain that. We didn't want to disrupt that beautiful thing.
And when you're working for a hotel company, I presume that design needs to last for some time. Yeah. How long is a hotel room designed to last?
Well, I think it should probably last forever, but that's not really realistic. Hotels are never finished. You always need to improve things. You always need to change things. Technology changes all the time. That needs to be. You need to adapt to that constantly. But
to stay is complicated, because in a hotel that's in Shoreditch, you need to be cool and you need to be reasonably contemporary. But as soon as you do that, it begins to date in no time.
If you try too hard, you fall flat on your face. I think you always have to do what's truthful and do it nicely, and I think then it has longevity. If you try and get too gimmicky, you need to redesign it tomorrow.
Guy, you're nodding there.
I absolutely agree. I think in our, I think we share a lot of philosophies. I'm very familiar with the work you've done. I think when you design a place like what we did, you tend to mix it with vintage items to break it a little bit, and it looks like it's been collected over the years, and some custom made, and then you layer it on. And our approach to design actually tends to look a little bit better with age. It looks like it's been there forever on the first day of opening, which is quite a challenge. But if it ages a little bit, that doesn't take away from the overall design. There's a bit of human error in the design, which
but
I think
just tell
like.
people a little bit about Warwick Street and its history and its design.
One Warwick is a beautiful corner building that was built in 1910 in the entrance to Soho, really, on the corner of Brewer, Warwick and Glasshouse Street. It's a striking building, and we acquired that property in 2019, at the end of 2019, and it has undergone a substantial renovation, strip out, demolition, extension. It couldn't have been more challenging from a construction point of view, and all of that was happening during COVID, which was a lot of fun. It has a public-facing restaurant on the ground floor called Nessa, which is excellent. It's a modern British bistro, quite playful. Our chef is Tom Sensi, very talented, and I encourage all of you to come and try it. On the upper floors, which are private, we have member lounges, private offices, communal workspace, gym, rooftop restaurant, event spaces. So it's quite a comprehensive offering for day and night. It has been designed by a wonderful company called Fettel, who we worked very closely with. We tend to use different designers for different projects because we want each house to look different. It's like a child. We don't name them the same way, and we don't expect them to behave in the same way. So One Warwick is very different to Mortimer House, and the next project will be very different to those two. And if you haven't been, I'm happy to take you around.
You've got some forms to sign people up tonight, anyway.
We'll be there'll be a bus outside at the end of the evening.
Well, I will tell a short story, which I think I mentioned to you. When I first conceived the whole idea, before even opening Mortimer House, I was asked by a branding expert, what's the profile of the member? And I said, they're a Monocle reader. So if you're a Monocle reader, you're welcome to join.
In the time that we have remaining, I think we've touched on a little bit about service and the absolute importance, because it doesn't matter how beautiful your building is, the smile at the door and whether someone will put that iPad down is kind of important. Do you think, and maybe either Guy or you, Judy, would like to answer this, do you think that service is something that can be learned and hospitality is something that can be learned, or do you have to have an instinct for it?
I think it's both, actually. I think that you can learn anything that you put your heart and soul into, but there are cultures where it just runs through their blood. You know, I think that the French, the Italians, they have a tradition of hospitality in their countries, and the industry is considered a real career. You know, and in Asia too, service just takes that next level. So yeah, I don't know if you.
How about you, Guy? Are you finding it's instinctive, or is it?
Yeah, I feel the same. Some cultures. They're very service-oriented, and it comes naturally to them. I think if you're very passionate about people and making people happy, you can probably learn it. There's so much that you can do by training, but if it's not a natural instinct, then it's very difficult to train somebody who doesn't like to please others.
We are going to wrap this up because we have the team here from the Monocle Cafe who are desperate to serve you some nice drinks, and we have some amazing food from Soulbird, thanks to Judy. So we want you to try proper Korean hospitality, thanks to Genesis.
A round of applause, please, for Yaku, Judy, and Guy. And thank you for coming as well.